What's up everyone? Joe from China Cycling here today, and today we're having a look at this, the Pardus Super 5. So Pardus is the bicycle brand of their parent company, Taishan Sports. Taishan Sports make a whole range of sports equipment. They're a huge company, official suppliers of the Beijing Olympics, over 40 years of history, yada yada. But we're just here for the bikes. They used to and still do a bunch of OEM production for some big Western brands. But the thing is, I can't tell you who. These Western brands sign NDAs with the factories, and if I tell you which brands they make in their factory, those brands will change factories and or slap Pardus with a lawsuit. Nobody's happy. It's one of those things that you'll never really know, which just makes rumors spread across the internet like wildfire. All I can say is that they have experience making carbon bikes for Western brands that you've definitely heard of. Anyway, Taishan took all that experience and started their own brand, Pardus. They do some pretty cool stuff in the mountain bike scene. They have a full suspension mountain bike with the suspension hidden inside the frame. It almost looks like an e-bike kind of thing. And their other mountain bikes, the M3 and the M5, were both raced in the 2016 Olympics in Rio. On the road bike side of things, their frames and forks, including this one, are UCI approved and actually raced at the UCI continental level by the St. George Continental Cycling Team out of Australia. Recently, in the UCI Tour of Thailand, Ryan Kavanagh soloed for 130k on a Super 5 just like this one to take the win on a mountain stage. So, definitely race-proven bikes. I'm mainly taking a look at the frame set today. I threw my own wheels on there just so I can compare to my own bikes. I feel if you want to review a frame set, you put some wheels on there that you're familiar with, and then you know any stiffness or any quality of the ride difference is down to the frame and not to the wheels. This bike is their loaner bike, their media bike, so it's a bit rough around the edges. You can see all the cable hanging on the front brake there in case people want to switch from left to right front braking. It's been around a while, I guess. There's a few dings and dangs on it and scratches, but no, it's been a nice bike. They have a few bikes in their road lineup. This one, the Super 5, is the kind of all-round bike. It's a few years old now, but still stacks up well against the bikes of today. In a similar build to what you see here with full Ultegra, some of their in-house 50mm carbon wheels, and their carbon aero cockpit, the bike comes in at 19,800 renminbi, so just under 3,000 US dollars. In that setup, the bike weighs an impressive 7.2 kilograms in a size 54. One negative of the frame is maybe tire clearance. I'm running 25mm Continental GP4000s here, and at the front there's a little bit of room, but at the back on the lower chain stays, that's really tight. I don't think you could get anything bigger than these in there. There are also some aero touches on the frame. The seat post has a camtail D-shaped profile, and the front forks bow out to keep them away from the turbulent air generated by the wheel spokes. This bowing out of the forks also helps to add some compliance to the front fork to make the ride more comfortable and get rid of some of that road buzz. And talking about comfort, this bike is actually really comfortable. Definitely suitable for long days in the saddle. I've done a couple of big rides on it, and after a day on this thing, I feel a lot fresher than a day on my rock-solid alley sprint. The geometry also maybe leans slightly towards comfort. The head tube is fairly tall, So anyone looking to get into a more aggressive position is going to want to buy a size smaller than usual and throw on a long slammed stem. Something I noticed most of the St. George's Continental team doing. By the way, if you were watching that clip just and you thought he was taking that corner like a bit of a wuss, check out what happened to the people behind him. Ouch. And of course, you can't put a bike review on the internet without talking about stiffness. The rear triangle, including the bottom bracket on this bike, is super stiff. Frame production uses all-in-one molding. That is, so many carbon bikes out there are made up of individual tubes or individual triangles that are then bonded together at the junctions. But the Super 5 uses all-in-one molding, meaning the whole bike comes out of one mold. This results in added stiffness for less weight, all while being able to control which areas are compliant and in which directions. Again, something I'm sure they learned while doing OEM work for the big Western brands. Handling on the bike is fine. On this media bike, the bars were a bit high and a bit close for me. I could do with switching out for a longer, lower stem, but throwing the bike down some technical descents was fine. Maybe the bike doesn't feel quite as stable as some of the best bikes I've ridden when going through high-speed corners, but that's like really nitpicking. For looks, personally, I love this bright pink color scheme with the Pardus logo going from the back to the front of the bike. But for those not brave enough or not cool enough to ride a pink bike, other colors are of course available. Speaking of availability, it seems the bike is mostly available in Asian territories, with lots of sellers seemingly in Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, and of course, China. Some quick searching seems there are a few other dealers spotted around the globe in the likes of the Czech Republic and whatnot, but nothing in America. They had some bikes at Interbike Show in America in 2016 and 2017, so it looks like they're trying to get into the Western market, but maybe struggling to find the right way. However, if they keep making bikes like the Super 5, I'm sure it's only a matter of time before they get noticed and get some distribution deals going. It could also be that many of these companies are doing just fine making bikes for other brands, that they don't really have the motivation to push their own brand. A big reason they even have their own brands is to serve as a showcase of what they can do, because as I said at the start of the video, they're not allowed to tell you what bikes they make for other companies. So their own brand bikes could just be a way of them showing what they can do and trying to attract other OEM deals. All in all, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with the Pardus Super 5, and after a year or so of mostly riding aluminium, the Super 5 has me considering turning my Alley Sprint into a dedicated crit bike and getting something carbon for my everyday bike. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old. I'm going to box this bike up and send it back to Pardus. They told me they're working on something a bit special these days, and they want me to check it out and give them my opinion. I think they're experimenting with really shaving weight off the frame and making a super light bike. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that video when they send it my way. Again, any thoughts, questions, or comments, please leave them below. I really love the conversations and feedback we always have going on in the comments. And please hit the like button and help more people see this video and help me spread the word. China Cycling out.